Ross Bain, and I am a year 3 student doing sports coaching, and this is a high performance coaching video on my client Jack Lewandowski here, and he's going to be doing 4 activities: 1 aerobic, 1 on agility, 1 deadlift, and this Olympic lifting for a snatch. These all link into each other in some way or not, as the deadlift, for example, is literally the beginning of the snatch, and he's going to be doing this to practice for improving his explosive movements, as he is a footballer, which does include a lot of explosive movements with rest. So for the warm-up in this, we started off by doing 3 minutes of stretching the muscles out, doing some squats with a dumbbell, squats without a dumbbell, etc. And then we went on to a rowing machine for 5 minutes. So the stretching is important to do as it improves flexibility and warms up your muscles, which increases the ability of a joint to move through its full range of motion. There's different types of stretching. So you got a static stretching where you'll hold the stretch for around 30 seconds, which is what me and Jack did before the exercises. There's a ballistic stretch. This is going into a stretch and performing a bounce movement to increase the range of motion. We also done a bit of ballistic stretching. Then we went onto the rowing machine. So this was picked by us to do as the warm-up activity, because it is a full body workout using 86% of the muscles, which was found on healthline.com. The American Fitness Professional Association says it uses 65 to 75% of the leg muscles and 25 to 35% of the upper body in one rowing stroke. So we've had to use this one because doing a snatch and a deadlift is all an explosive movement in the leg, so this one uses most of the leg muscles to warm up. The next activity done is a 505 agility test. This is where you run 5 meters, run around the cone and run 5 meters back. This test is to practice changing direction at speed, which is what agility is. The 505 test was chosen over the Illinois agility test and the T test because found by Van Gelder and Bart in a journal. It says they are more focused on speed rather than the acceleration. So the 505 test has a 180 degree turn, making it a closed linear running agility skill, rather than the Illinois agility test where it's just running, touching a cone, running, touching a cone. Agility is where you have to change direction at speed, which is why the 505 test is more relevant when looking at agility, and a T test is just to see how fast you can get to a different thing, different cone, and then you're running sideways to another cone, back to the middle to sprint back. There's no change of direction. That's why we decided to do a 505 agility test, as you get the chance to change direction at speed, which you do a lot in football anyway, especially if you have to turn quick because there's a man on or whatever, or to beat a man even. So the next activity was a repeated sprint test. So we'd sprint 20 meters and then walk back. You do that 3-4 times in a set because it gives you the same amount of recovery time each sprint. And then to improve that, we're going on to do a 35 meter sprint 3-4 times in a set, and then walk back again, as it's obviously you've increased the speed, so you have to increase the time of recovery. So this will link to football, which Jack is a footballer, as you sprint a lot in football and you get rest, so it isn't always a constant sprinting move. It's not always constant high intensity. So you got short duration of sprint with a brief recovery. Obviously, it's very common in team sports as well. Obviously, found by Bishop, Girard, and Mendes of Vallenwever in another journal. So the repeated sprint test is very relevant for Jack, as he's involved in a team sport because he does play football. So the next part of this video is obviously it's a video by CrossFit, which is available on YouTube. Obviously, it's just showing you what the deadlift is and how to do it properly. So there's two types of grips you can use for a deadlift. You got the overhand grip and you got a mixed grip. An overhand grip is probably the easiest to perform and is the most common doing the deadlift. In the deadlift article by David Parker in the UK Strength and Conditioning Association, says the mixed grip is good as you can lift more weight as the bar doesn't roll as much. Mixed grip is also can be bad as causes muscle imbalance as the arm is pronated, which is the hand that's over the bar, and the other is supinated, which is under the bar. So you'll be working different muscles. So one muscle on one arm is going to be bigger than the one on the other arm, for example. Obviously when Jack did his deadlift, he decided to use the overhand grip rather than the mixed grip. So there's no muscle imbalance there. So for the deadlift, you need a hip width stance, hands outside the hip. So Jack did use the overhand grip. Shoulders slightly in front of the bar to start with. The heels must stay planted to the floor so you're able to keep balance when you do actually lift up the weight. The bar should stay over the midline of the feet, which also helps with balance, because if it's further back over the midline of the feet, when you do then lift it, you'll lose your balance and fall because it's a heavy weight you're lifting. The bar should stay so the lumbar curve should stay the same. Hips and shoulders rise at the exact same time. The lift will be completed as full hip and knee extension. The deadlift is effectively the start of the next exercise, which is the snatch, as it works on leg power in the hamstring and the glutes, which is also effective for footballers, as you need strength and endurance in your legs for the explosive movements, and legs are effectively the most used muscle in football. From CrossFit, which is on YouTube, and it's pretty much similar to the deadlift one. It just shows you like what a snatch is, the key points to a snatch, and just shows you how to do a snatch effectively. So again, the exact same grips for the deadlift you can use for the snatch. If you got your overhand and your mixed one, again, mixed one's is gonna obviously have muscle imbalance due to supinated and pronated arms. There's also another one called a suicide grip, where rather than having your hands over the bar at the top, they're both underneath, and then obviously you're not able to get a proper grip, obviously, from the form and etc. And the bar will just roll about, so you will probably end up dropping it, especially if you're doing it at a proper high level, with a lot of weight on and you're not used to it. The bar's just going to roll and probably flatten you, and also there's a chance it could drop on your head if you don't have the proper grip towards it. So Jack did end up using the snatch here, so you got the hip width stance, hands wide enough that the bar will be able to rest in the crease of the hips at leg extension, just above your pubic bone. The hook grip on the bar, which Jack did, shoulders slightly in front of the bar at the setup, maintaining a lumbar curve. Hips, shoulders will rise at the same rate, then hips extend rapidly where the power happens to lift the weight up and over the head. Heels stay down until hips and the legs extend, then they will come up a bit as you are jumping effectively with the weight on to be able to get it up and over. Shoulder shrugs followed by a pull under the bar with your arms, obviously keeping the bar as close to your body as possible, because if you get further away, you're going to have to get under the bar from a bigger distance, and then obviously you're going to fling it back over your shoulders. The bar's just going to take it because obviously you'll have a massive weight on it. Hoffman et al. In the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research found that footballers doing Olympic lifting rather than normal weightlifting, the players' 40-metre sprint times on average are better by 0.04 seconds. This is meaning that if footballers did want to get better improvements in their sprint time and more explosive movements, then during strength and conditioning training, they should look at doing more of that snatch or the deadlift rather than just your normal leg press or whatever, because you're not really doing explosive movements in a leg press. You're just looking to build up muscles in your calves, your hamstrings, your thighs and your glutes. So you do it with a snatch, for example, with the jump up, because when you're doing a snatch, it's all in your legs, getting your power from your legs up to get the weight over. So it has to be explosive movement. A leg press isn't an explosive movement, so footballers should really start looking at doing, especially Jack, should be looking to do more Olympic lifting and training. So thanks for watching this video, and I hope it gives you all an idea on what kind of training you want to do to help obviously improve your explosive movements in sport or just in general. Obviously dead Olympic lifting is probably more effective if you want to work on your speed and stuff, so that you can get faster times or just be faster in general, because obviously football these days evolving, it's a fast-paced game example. So thanks for watching.